Hi, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this. This is actually the exact presentation that we gave on September 13th in our high school commons to go over the district-wide facilities planning project that we are looking at. And this is specific for our information session that evening. I'm just going to break it up into some smaller chunks and kind of walk through that exact same presentation, but it'll just be me, where on that evening we did have representatives from Excel, Findorf, and Baird present as well. So diving in, we started with just some highlights. You all know this if you're watching this. Rib Lake School District is phenomenal. We continue to be above the state average and above regionally most of our peers. And our elementary school continues to receive awards on awards, including the Blue Ribbon distinction that they earned last year. And we were discussing this last week or 2 weeks ago when we had Governor Evers stop by and want to come see our school district. It's not very often that a governor wants to come and see your school district for what you're doing great. And I think it's even more rare, maybe outside of Madison, that you have two separate governors representing both political parties want to come over, an 8-year period to see your school district and the great things that you're doing. We had Governor Walker here, I think 7 or 8 years ago, walking through, and then we just got to host Governor Evers as well. And I think that really speaks volumes about the great things that we're doing in this school district. We really do have a fantastic school district. We're really proud of it. So these are all of the core members of our group in this project or this planning phase. Excel, which I'll talk about where each one of these came on. We have Findorf from the construction side, and then Baird, kind of the finance side. But I'll dive into each one of their respective roles as we go. So overall, I'm going to focus on a few different things in this presentation. One, our facilities planning process, then our priorities and the proposed plans, which will probably be a separate video, school finance, and then the next steps. So with that, we'll dive into the process. So we started this last, right around December. We were finishing up our 10-year long-term maintenance plan. We basically finished all the actions that we had on there, and it was time to look for a new one. So we requested some proposals out there from a few different companies to come in and create a new 10-year maintenance plan and do a complete audit of all of our systems, everything we have in the school district. What do we need to maintain our school district as is? Come up with that 10-year plan and what's our 5 years out we need to really focus on, what's the 10 years out things we need to continue to focus on, and putting all that together. So that's where we brought on Excel. They did a lot of community engagement and some communications around that. They also did an existing conditions assessment, that really influenced the 10-year maintenance plan, as well as an educational space and capacity analysis. So looking at how we're using our classrooms, how many times of the day are they being used, how full are they, the classrooms big enough? What are some things then after they put all that together that we can tweak so that we can better serve our students and maximize our spaces that we have? And from that, they got surveys sent out to our staff and our board. They started to make options. And then last March, they came up with maybe 6 or 7 middle school, high school options, and then a few elementary school options. And in those options are just, hey, just take care of the maintenance, as well as here are some other things that we could do and look at. And we presented that to the community, and we had 2 open community sessions and then 1 staff session in March. And then from all of that, we had this really great activity where we had every different proposed design kind of around the room. We went over kind of everything that went into those designs and then turned it over to the people that came out to those sessions to give us individualized feedback using some sticky notes, things that they love about this proposal, things they don't like about the proposal. And then also did a survey at the end of, hey, what's the best proposal and what's the dollar amount that we would ultimately be looking for, those kinds of things. All of that came back together and was refined by our team at Excel. That was then brought back to the school board, and then the school board gave their tweaks, and then we kind of have this final proposal that we're looking at now. And from there, we brought on Findorf as well from the construction management side to give us some better cost numbers on that specific plan that we're looking at. And now we've sent out staff and community surveys to get everybody's input on this proposed plan to then see what do we need to change, what do we want to move forward with, do we want to continue moving forward with this project, and towards a referendum. So that takes us into the yellow box. So basically, we're going to take all this information we got back from the surveys, and we're going to say, hey, what's the best plan that we have now? Taking all this feedback, so the open-ended feedback is still incredibly helpful, and we'll take that to the board and say, okay, do we want to make tweaks? Do we want to change something? Do we want to scrap this entirely and go back to the drawing board? And then we'll have to make a decision if we're going to adopt a referendum question that'll then go to a referendum vote in April, and then we would go into the design and construction part of this process. So I think I will stop right there, just going over an overview, and then my next video will pick back up onto kind of our key priorities.